When it comes to EVE Online, every player wants to know the most effective tactic available. You want to know the meta. The meta controls everything. It determines what will and will not happen. Knowing the meta will alter your views, make you question your reality. It might even make you laugh. And now, you're part of it. You're watching The Meta Show.
Hey, how's it going, guys and gals? Welcome to today's episode of The Meta Show with guest host, yours truly, Life Shifter X here from the INN Twitch team. I'm joined by Dave Archer today as well. We're going to be kind of tag teaming the stream together, kind of going off of our Logitech Christmas, Make Christmas Live stream special. I'm a little bit stumbling on it because Keep Playing is the main theme of it, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But welcome, everybody. We're going to be starting the day off with the Meta Show. We're going to be going through kind of like our year in review, some of the big hit items. Some of you all may have noticed I put up a post last night on Reddit trying to dig a little bit to see what else other people thought about all this. And we kind of tallied up all the best comments, news, reviews, and things that happened this year. And we're going to kind of go over that all as a big thing. We do have, for the Meta Show specifically today, we're going to be giving away 2,000 total Plex. We're going to be giving away 5 partner skins. And then we're also going to be giving away this shirt that I'm wearing right now, a Meta Show branded t-shirt. So that way you can celebrate with your favorite Meta Show shirt. Later on in the stream today, this is going to be going on for quite some time. After the Meta Show today, we're going to be doing some Marvel Rivals and checking that out live for everybody. You're welcome to join us. It's a 6-player free-to-play multiplayer shooter out on everything pretty much from PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. But yeah, kind of digging into it. There's a lot of different things that we've kind of gone over the years. I've never hosted the Meta Show myself, and I think this is Dave. Thanks for having me on for this whole thing. Mm-hmm. But it's different. You know, you come across, you see it, you produce it in the background live for so many years, and you never actually go on camera for the whole thing. So you're gonna wash the first shirt first. I'm not giving you away this one. I'm giving you away a brand new one. Don't worry. It's gonna be a brand new one, straight in the, the plastic and everything. So, but anyway, so going off, just thinking off topic, away from kind of like the topics that we've got kind of in our year in review that we talked about. What do you think, Dave, is like some of the big things that we've experienced this year outside of the main things we're going to be discussing?
Well, other than the main things we're going to be discussing, I think a bit more willingness from CCP to push the game in new directions, which we will be touching on that, but they seem a lot more willing to make sweeping changes to the game to modernize it and make it a bit more different than what it's been. Other than that, nothing really springs immediately to my mind other than the stuff we've already got noted down.
One thing I could say,
been a lot more PvP, I think. This
one thing I think we can say, it kind of just came to mind too, is the fact that they've added new ships to the game the first time in many years this year. That was kind of actually another big thing, the faction dreads, the other new subcaps that are coming in, the Lancer dreadnoughts. Some of those are kind of the things. What do you all think? Like in chat, join us on this one. Like, what are some of the other things you can think of aside of what we may even present? Maybe it's something that flew by that we didn't think about. But like new ships are definitely a good thing. Like, I think that's something that's kind of necessary for this type of game, to introduce new things to the meta, actually bring out things that's going to change the dynamic of fleet combat. The SAW system obviously is going to be another big thing that people have talked about. Obviously, that's caused a few shakeups. One of the things we're going to be talking about later in our show. And just I really hope it. Like, I've been playing EVE now since 2008 and on and off, and I've kind of been on a break now for the last few years, but I still keep in touch and I keep my sub active just to make sure that I can kind of dive in and do all that fun stuff. But I kind of hope that we get back to a thing where it kind of gets back to the Seagull days. Like, I felt like when we had CCP Seagull back, this is obviously talking way back when I feel like we had more of a roadmap and more of a vision of what we were getting as a game as a whole. Like, I don't know if that's ever going to come back, but I think that's a CCP please. Like, please, for the love of God, give us something to look forward to. I mean, it's funny. It's one of those things that even like, you know, my personal life, my wife loves. Like, we plan trips and other things. Like, it's always that something to give us something to like kind of dig into and look at and you know, just have something to look forward to. I guess it's just the biggest thing, right? So
Yeah, some of goods just actually been mentioned that I did completely forget in chat. The carrier change with the ability for carriers to take ships with them has actually changed the way PvP happens quite a bit. For those that may not know and have been living under a rock, carriers have the ability to take upwards of, I want to say 30, I think a few more, subcaps with them of any type. No restriction on that. Which means if you've got a doctrine that can't pull ops and you want to go somewhere where you can't get a Titan there or in maybe out of range of a Titan, you can use a carrier the same way you would with a Blops. And because they now have an MJD as well, you can take the ships in with you. The carrier can jump off and cloak up much like a Blops would. The ships can do their thing, come back, warp to the carrier, and immediately yeet skeet and jump out. Which has actually changed quite a few things. Allowing you to get actual combat capable fleets into systems that are further away without the need for a Titan, which just changes quite a bit, especially considering you could, you know, have several of them in your fleet and jump an entire fleet with just a few carriers.
yeah,
yeah, it is also great for home defense.
yeah, I can see that being a big thing. Like, yeah, you can see it for home defense. You could do it for, you know, taking a group out. I mean, Blops is still one of the most intriguing types of combat, and to me anyway, in EVE, like aside of just obviously the big fleet fights, which I enjoy too, but I enjoy small gang or even medium-sized gang warfare also to be like super fun for my own personal play style. Like that's how I started out in PvP when back in, you know, 2008-9, it was like I just got into small gang low sec warfare and just kind of had some little brawls here and there, and you poke the bears here, you know, at little different places and kind of go from there. But it's definitely changed up a little bit. I think with that and pair with the new ships and stuff like that has some kind of positive effect. Obviously there's a lot of things that we could always, you know, continue to talk shit about. That's never going to stop with CCP. I feel like they occasionally have the whole thing where they aim high and do great things from time to time, and then eventually they go and they, you know, figuratively speaking, drop the slingshot and shoot themselves in the foot quite a bit. So
it's like the recent expansion with the warping in NPCs. It's like, this looks amazing, but how in the hell have we just done that? Because we've broken it now. Because they broke ratting whilst making something look amazing, and they were like, this shouldn't have changed anything. What's happened?
Exactly. It makes it kind of weird.
So they have a thing of doing amazing stuff, and then suddenly, you know, either on purpose or not, Summit goes the other way, and it's just like, oh well, here we are again.
Exactly. It's always kind of strange. I don't know. I hope one day they'll get back to the point where they tell people, like Ella was talking about, it's like, why would they give us a roadmap that we could talk shit all over it for the devs and fired if they don't strictly adhere to it. It's not that they just need to be able to give something on a high level for us to do, and everybody, we can ask, you know, what and all that kind of stuff, and that should be talked about with the CSM and things like that to make sure that they're not going to be doing the crazy stuff, you know, in the future with that. But you just never know with them. I feel like it's just a struggle sometimes with getting all that, you know, sorted on their end.
At least this is where we're thinking. So
yeah, at least like, hey, we're gonna talk about doing this one thing. I mean, they want to give us something to look forward to with these expansions, and they kind of go over a high level. They're kind of doing that to some degree again, and I feel like they're getting to that place. But it's going to be a point in time. I think they're gonna have to go and give us a little bit more meat and potatoes aside of the.
They like to do a lot of teasing rather than actual information.
Well, I mean, so go back, think of it. Tell me if I'm wrong on this. This is obviously an outside perspective because I haven't played as much recently, but even this last expansion was really only announced about a month prior to it coming out, right? It was pretty short in terms of.
They teased soft changes a lot, but they didn't actually give any information. They just said changes are coming, essentially.
Yeah. So it's a funny road, or fine line, I should say. So let's dig into that. You ready for our next topics?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's kind of dig into it. So, our year in review. It's kind of some of the big note things for this year. I usually try to get up to 10 in most years in review. I think we've Brisk and Mittens used to do one every year, and it was always the top 10. But I feel like this year was a little light. And even though the Reddit post I got, it had a good chunk of responses in it, and a lot of them came down to pretty much the same things for the most part. But here's some of the things I thought that were noteworthy to kind of talk about. So number 6.
Yeah, enough kind of slow.
We had our standings reset with Initiative, Winterco, and Horde. Tell me a little bit more about it, because obviously I'm an outsider looking in on this one because I don't remember this one particularly.
So
but fill me in on what it was.
A few weeks ago, Darkshines announced that as of the 1st of January, the Initiative will be resetting all standings with everyone. Sorry, there's something in my eye. So they will have no blues at all, no nips, no packs, no nothing. They will essentially be standing alone, which is a significant thing. Nobody's really done that in EVE for quite a while. Ever since we had Pappy formed against us, it's always been us and them. There's been 2 groups, and Horde have pretty much bullied anyone that's tried to be the third. So it really sets a precedent for the future, allowing more groups to flourish in nullsec. As a response to that, Horde and Winterco, so Fraternity mainly, have announced that they will be resetting each other. Now, this is a big thing because they said that they would do it in the past after they finished fighting us, did for a little bit, and then went blue again. So them resetting each other really puts EVE back into the multiple different null blocks rather than just 2. Yeah, well, 2 superpowers.
Kind of chiming in on that, I think that's one of those things we want to avoid with the other server, right? Like where there's basically only 2 factions in that, and they just fight each other on all fronts and on all around the EVE universe. It's just you don't want to get to the point where you're scaling itself.
Yeah, for a long time you've either been friendly with Imperium, friendly with PamFam. There's no middle ground.
Yeah, and some degree that also is kind of a good thing. Like it gives more targets to shoot at, obviously, which was kind of one of the failing things or dropping things that has happened for quite some time. But at the same time, like it'll free us up to actually, have just more content in general. It doesn't necessarily mean a fight. It could be a skirmish here and there or this and that. And it also just gives more people to have, like I said, like in other ways, more targets to shoot at. And now I kind of wish there was a little bit more of that too. If you had a few more of these other alliances doing it, but at the same time, like I know everybody's always worried about if we get into a big fight or a big war or something like that, are we going to be able to sustain ourselves because, the player count itself is not what it used to be.
Yeah. That's the thing. Back in the day, I say back in the day, before the invasion of Delve, you had Legacy, PamFam, and us. And it had a nice balance because PamFam and Legacy would go to war, and then a few months later we'd go to war with like PamFam or whoever. And there was still war in EVE, still places to third party, get in on that action, but there wasn't, it didn't get stale because, quite frankly, I'm tired of doing the same stuff over and over again.
Well, yeah, it's kind of becomes like that age-old like rivalry between the same alliances and coalitions of like we're gonna go fight here now and just gonna be the stage is different but the player's the same, right? Like, and it just gets stale. Like nobody wants. It's like I guess we got to ship up and go and fight these guys again. The same group we keep fighting back and forth. Yeah, the tactics change in here, and the doctrines changed around it, but. Like, what else are you really looking for?
You look at the people, look at the FCs and all that, it'll be the same people, We'll field the same FCs that you've seen for a while and then have a few new names scattered in. Depends who's awake at the time, In it, we'll field the same FCs, you'd have Darkshines, you'd have Blurkers, Bongalonga, It's everybody's been against the same people for a while. So having more neutrals is great because it would mean more people to fight and new people to learn to fight against. Because it's one thing fighting with people, another fighting against them.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
you're not immediately, but over time you'll see fights between probably Winterco and Horde, us and Init, you know. Quite honestly, I would love to try and test myself against Darkshines just for the fun, because I've headshot him before when he's blue because we had nothing else to do, but I'd love to do it when he's not blue.
Yeah. Yeah. And just more content. Everybody wants more content. I think that's the only thing that really drives people to Eve, is really saying, like, the big news articles, hey, how many, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars have been lost in X, Y, and Z battle. Like, we haven't had that kind of content in quite some time. I mean, I feel like, well, I guess what was it? Was it really called the World War B or Vietnam, depending on who you ask and how you say it. But was the last really, like, obviously big hoorah, and they drummed it up the way it was. But at the same time, like, what was the cause and effect beyond that war, right? You have all the big players really and content drivers of the game leaving too.
Yeah, like, nothing really happened afterwards other than Tess died. Like,
Tess died, Mittens left. There's all the like the content generators essentially left.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Next topic. So we got our first Angel Titan that died. Actually, we'll talk about first two. First one that legitimately died was obviously Braves on Pirate Day for their big hoopla in their staging system, which I think was pretty fun. That happened out on 9/19. And I can't remember the name of the pilot right off the top of my head who it was that died. I don't know if you can bring that up. But yeah, and so then we had the other one that the second one that died in the 1N TAC FJ8, which was just what, 2 weeks ago? Less than 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was recently. So the Brave one was Sergeant Matthew, and that was in their Pirate Day, so he was killed by Brave. Brave's Pirate Day is where they... Yeah, it's where they pretty much turn their staging system into a pretty much everybody dies sort of thing.
Yeah, if not purple shoot instantly.
Yeah.
MPSI.
So somebody took out their Azrael and was like, fuck it, we ball. Let's see how many people I can kill before I die.
Hey, I mean, that's the best way to do it. If you're gonna go out and have a faction Titan be on your kill board, you might as well, right? Okay. So Dave, this is an outside question. I didn't even think about this until just now. It's like, what do you think the people feel like? Like, is kill board really a big thing to players as much as they used to be? Like, I know it used to be like if you had a big loss in your kill board, you'd try to rectify it by killing a lot of other shit. But like, what do you think that impact has now on players?
You still have your fair share of people that go herd my kill board. There's still some groups that kick people for bad kill boards. But personally, I mean, from a goon standpoint, we've never given a crap. And I think people are starting to care less, but you still see it in fights, especially where some alliance leaders in other alliances and FCs will deliberately stop a fight because they don't have the stomach for the amount of ISK it's going to cost.
So I guess,
whereas we're just like, get the job done.
Yeah. Now thinking on that front, like, whereas a lot of these other alliances and coalitions and things like that always have that that care, like, what happens if the player base begins to care less about that? Do you think that's a content driver that would leave the game in that regard?
Yeah. I think if people cared less about what was on their kill board and cared more about having fun, you'd see a lot less risk-averse people, and you would have a lot more entertaining things happen.
But do you think, I guess my point in digging in that topic is, do you think it would dwindle the player base because they wouldn't care about that? Or do you think it would increase because the fun would increase, essentially?
I think it would increase it because, the fun would increase. I mean, I like having shiny kills on my kill board. But, so I think kill boards are good for, hey, look at this cool kill I got.
Mm-hmm.
But when people start going, oh, well, you've got too many deaths and stuff, I don't care about deaths on my kill board, and I know a lot of other people don't, because if you're not willing to lose it, why own it?
Yeah, exactly. It kind of, and then, but it also it plays with the teetering value of Eve as a whole. Like, Eve's whole thing is like risk versus reward, but the risk sometimes exists, but then in other ways it doesn't. But then, like, as like Amaris I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Emers, said it's like
Yes.
scarcity also kind of fucked that up to some degree, because then now you can't make as much stuff as easy, and it's kind of going, and this is only my personal opinion, obviously this doesn't reflect anybody else, but like I feel like ever since Pearl Abyss has taken over, they've put more in terms of like the parent company, they've taken more of an approach with Eve of making it more grindy. Like, let's get players to play more, to be more grindy instead of making it so easy. And I don't think necessarily easy is a bad thing, because then you get your filthy casuals, like casuals. I mean, I consider myself a casual player now. I don't play Eve as much as I used to. Casuals like myself to jump in and just mine a bunch of shit for a couple days or a weekend or whatever if I got some free time, and then you go out and build something and go and die. Like, that was fun to me back in the day when it was, Rorquals were crazy overpowered. You could go and build, tons of either capitals or even battleships or whatever you want out of, the millions of ISK of
I miss the days of capitals just needing minerals. Yeah. At the moment, that's a struggle.
Yeah. Because and that's another thing that's driven me away. Like the industry portion of it, because it's gotten so grindy with all these extra things you need, it's made it less appealing for me to play as an indie character anymore, which, yeah.
I think I've installed over 1,000 jobs in the last 48 hours to build caps.
Crazy.
It is,
well, just because of all the extra shit, right? All the extra parts and everything.
Yeah. Literally all the reactions and stuff you got to do. Before, you just install the cap parts and then boom, off you go, install the cap. Now you got to do reactions to build this part and that part, and then you need to put reactions into this part, and then you need PI for...
And don't forget the heavy Watergate last year.
Yeah, that's not so much an issue now. The issue now is Pyrite.
Pyrite was always the one you had way too much of back in the day, I felt like. Well, at least last time I did industry stuff, like building and all that stuff, Pyrite was the one you had way too much of in most cases.
A Titan now takes 1 billion Pyrite to build.
Jesus. And
less than 1 billion Trit. Whereas before it used to be the other way around. You'd need shitloads of Trit. Yes, endgame ships should be complex to build. However, they shouldn't be impossible, which to get hold of the amount of minerals you need sometimes is.
Well, especially like it makes it even harder. Like it took a little bit of the risk away when the anomalies and all that stuff changed too. Like whereas like the scarcity portion for nullsec also became uninteresting. And I think I agree with Amarius in this case. Like they made industry really uninteresting. It's not as fun as it used to be in that regard.
Especially when you've got to warp to about 5 different structures to do it. It really makes me hate it.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like just the nuance of it all doesn't make it fun.
It's like also the way they've done it, talking on capitals here, because I've been doing that a lot lately. The way they've done it is, for instance, reinforced carbon fiber, you need that in where you're making your advanced components and where you're making your capital components. And if you're a smart person, you don't do that in the same citadel. You don't even do that in the same system. So you end up warping a freighter around everywhere. Unless you've got tons of the stuff. You then go, oh, wait, I need to go get this from over there to bring it over. It's a lot of hauling.
Yeah, which, I mean, increases the value. I get what they're trying to do with it. It increases the value of players hauling stuff around more because it gives them more to do than just being a jump freighter line or a passing shipping line or whatever in a single system or whatever, or a single constellation or region. But at the same time, it's like mind numbing.
Yeah, it also means that people willing to do it will make more money because people are doing it.
Yeah, well, that too. And then, is it possible to consolidate asset safety stuff into one system? I don't think so. I could be wrong on that. But I also, I don't know. Well, does it? Is it? Can you do that?
Yeah, theoretically. Into one structure in the system.
Oh, okay.
So if I asset safetied something in an Asbal and wanted it over in the Vitaru, I can send it to the Vitaru 5 days later.
Gotcha.
And nobody waiting 5 days to move industry stuff.
I still have stuff. I still have stuff sitting in structures from the war. I haven't picked it up in now a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it's been since. So it's crazy.
So on the note of the second Titan that died, though, that one's an interesting thing. If you want to move on to that one, the Dread Bomb.
Yeah, let's go for it. Number 4, the Dread Bomb Titan fight. That kind of led to this death, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, what I believe is probably the biggest dread bomb to have been seen, at least recently in the game. From what I understand, is Init and Snuff were looking to bait out FRT's response fleet, so they sent in some dreads to shoot a Oracle. First of all, using dreads to shoot a Oracle, that should be your first inclination that something's up, because that's really dumb. Because of the panic module. But they did it. And as predictable as ever, FRT responded with capitals and titans. So more were dropped and escalating. You know, you drop some, they drop some, you drop shitloads. And the result of this, I have the BR somewhere around here for me to reference. It's on one of my many tabs. Give me a second. The result of this is 3.6 trillion ISK dead.
Jesus, 3.6 trillion. So
yes.
we were trying to do the rough math on this before the show. What did that ultimately come out to be? Like roughly,
it's for 3.6 trillion. It's 21,000.
$21,000 worth of.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus,
it's a lot.
I feel like that's low though, isn't it? 3.6 trillion for 21,000. Because what was it like when we were going through World War B?
It's about 6 trillion. It's about 6,000 per trillion, roughly.
6,000 per trillion. Okay, I thought it was more than that. Because how were we getting to that $1 million fight? What was the whole justification behind saying that was the $1 million fight?
The amount of Titans that died.
Gotcha.
But nowadays it's very possible for million. But yeah, so basically in this fight, let me bring up the better PR here. So I will link this in chat as well for everyone.
Twitch chat specifically. Unless you can't get it in YouTube
Twitch
too.
Chat. Well, I've linked it in YouTube as well.
Okay, cool.
So as you can see, they played faction super cap bingo here and got all but 2. So I'm not looking at the timeline at the moment, but the total tally of expensive stuff killed: Snuff and Init and some CNTZ goons managed to kill an Azerial, a Vanquisher, a Komodo, a Revenant, an Erebus, and a Ragnarok. Now, I personally haven't seen anything like this happen since Jay Amazingness lost his Revenant on the DW Beacon.
Which was, I think he lost 3 Titans total that day, right?
Yeah. So this is quite a significant whoopsie from that.
That side topic, just because it's thinking, my ADHD brain's thinking about it. Where has Jay Amazingness been since? I know he defected.
Pandemic Legion, I believe.
So is he still there? Is he still playing?
I don't know. Summit in chat and lost 164 dreads doing it. I don't care how many dreads they lost. They killed 3 faction titans. That's embarrassing. Well,
that's, the ISK of one of them is more than I think even 50 of those, right? So like 3 of them definitely is worth more than 164.
Yeah. So Fraternity lost 2.65 trillion and the attackers lost 1.14. So they're ISK positive, and quite frankly, they just killed 3 very difficult to replace titans. That's
crazy.
I would say a win.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if they lost more ISK worth, killing those 3 titans is the win there.
Yeah, it's the shiny trophies, right? In this case, it's not about the money that it's lost. It's about the trophies of saying, hey, we were able to kill these 3.
When my Vendetta died, they lost almost as many dreads ISK worth as they killed. But they killed 2 Vendettas,
Yeah. The Dark Train said that the dreads they lost were from the Alliance dread upgrade program, people trading in their faction dreads, so it was a surplus for them to have fun with. Hey, if you got that, and that's the thing, is like, you want to use that stuff for content, by all means. That's the best way to do it.
If I've got 394 dudes that want to drop on some... Why is Horde on the wrong side of this beer? Hello. If I've got 300 odd dudes that want to drop some dreads to kill some faction titans, and I can do it all in one go. Hello. They didn't get any of the Molochs, though. There were 2 Molochs there. That would have been nice if they. There were 4 other Komodos.
They could have.
But beggars can't be choosers.
So close.
But yeah, so the timeline, basically, looking at this, is they drop the Roracle. The Roracle, of course, panics. They drop in a few dreads, and then the response fleet comes in. Within 4 minutes of the initial Pilgrim dying, so the initial Sino dying, the Azerial dies. 4 minutes.
Jesus.
Following that, 1 minute later, the Revenant dies. Now, Revenants are the hardest to get super carry. Like, it's the one that looks like a turd. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And then following that, Erebus, Ragnarok go down, then a Komodo, which is the tankiest Titan. So they fucked up.
Yeah.
And then the Vanquisher.
Definitely lost some bad stuff in that.
Yeah, I think. Oh, and the Roracle died as well.
The bait Roracle, or the one they were trying to save, I guess.
The one I think it's the one they initially attacked. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is a mining Roracle. It's got an ore compressor. Yeah, so that died as well.
Oh boy!
But quite frankly, if I was them after I killed that, the first couple of faction caps, I would have been like, okay, let's just see what we can get before we die, because we ain't getting out of here.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
So
they lost 2.5 trillion to not save their work. Not bad.
Yeah.
At that point, you're like, well, fuck it.
And didn't achieve the objective.
It's gone at this point.
Wow.
See you later, boys.
Yeah. And they have faxes there. I suppose the faxes were too busy repping the Titans. Which, honestly, in that case, they probably didn't care about the Roracle anymore once the Titans died.
No. At that point, they had their objective.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Insanity.
And for it to take it would be less than 4 minutes for them to jump in that initial Titan and for it to die, and then a Revenant to follow.
Now, I know I don't think we had a discussion about this part of it prior, but where does this land in terms of like the largest dread bombs that have happened in terms of like overall fight, ISK lost, things like that? Where do you think this one lands in that list?
So are we talking that are not in an ongoing like Titan engagement? Because of course,
it doesn't matter. I mean, it could be in anything. So,
from my not so extended knowledge of it, somebody's probably going to correct me. The several that I can remember from Goon side of things, there's probably some that snuffed out have done the top most of these. Dread Bomb on Super Capitals, you've got the attempted attack on the Titan fleet in M2, which Kimi just obliterated with his 9 Titans. Because they walked in at a single point right next to all the Lance Titans, and Kimi just went, okay, good night, and lanced them all. You've got during I forgot what we call the war now. It's like the war that the Battle of X-47 happened. The first Battle of X-47.
Oh yeah.
There was a dread bomb on a Nyx in Dow. The armor superfleet was deployed to the north. Our shield superfleet was at home. The shield superfleet saved the Nyx and killed all 80 dreadnoughts within seconds. Because, when you jump about 100 Titans in and say Doomsday's green, 80 dreadnoughts die. There was around 400 dreads on the M2 breakout.
The M2 breakout, I'll just say, it was one of my most favorite times in EVE. That was just all the M2 stuff around M2 and X-47 was probably the most fun I've had in the game in a while.
Yeah, that was the I think it was in RF, the one I'm on about where the Shield Titans obliterated them. It was just before the Battle of, ironically, UALX, which is now where our Keepstar stands. There was, in it, did a dread bomb on Pappy forces moving through the Catch regional into Aquarius. They dread bombed a super fleet. So there's been quite a few, but I think this is the one that will stand out the most purely because it's several trillions. The first ship to die is a brand new ship that hasn't been lost to hostile fire before. It's lost to a meme, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's followed by some of the most expensive ships in the game. Immediately followed by the most expensive supercarrier. So it's like, you've nailed the most expensive Titan, let's rub it in and immediately nail the most expensive supercarrier.
Wild.
And then you move on and go, you know what, I feel like some normal Titan. It's like snacking, normal Titan, Komodo, which is one of the most expensive Titans as well.
Yeah.
And is also one of the tankiest Titans. That's essentially...
The Moloch, if I'm not mistaken, is the Blood Raiders one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It all depends on the acquiring of the blueprint. See? So I'd have to look it up in oh well, there we go. I'd have to look it up in like Evisk Pro and stuff to fully get that.
Yeah. No worries on that one. Let's go to our next topic because we're getting close. We gotta wrap some of these up and then we'll get to our giveaways so you all can join in on that.
Time is flying, as I said.
I know. When you get through these things, it's crazy.
It always flies in this show.
So this one's always a little bit of a sensitive topic for me. It was sad with everything, but all of our players that we lost this year, 2 of them being Nam, which butt cancer, and then Akaroth from Open Comms, which was a diplomat over in Slice. Can you tell me a little bit about him? I wasn't as familiar with him.
So I didn't really interact with him other than when I went on Open Comms. There's a few others that would know more, and some of them may be lurking in chat and could probably fill in a bit more on him if like Dominarch or someone's lurking about. But I interacted with him a couple of times on Open Comms. Really chill dude. Always nice for a debate on different things, even though he was, the other side of the coin, rather than the usual, like, just throwing insults. He would sit there and discuss and was just always chill and always welcoming.
Yeah. We salute those players that we lost this year. So next up, we kind of, not to push that one fast, but it's always rough. Goonswarm moves to the southeast.
Oh, this one's got the fun numbers.
It's got the fun numbers.
I like this one.
Arrived. Oh boy, somebody said arrive. Okay. So now this is the one we came up with quite a bit of bigger numbers, I believe, than the normal, but so let's talk about, so we came from Delve, 1DQ. Now the staging now is our ULX, right?
ULX, yeah.
And then now talking about like the overall numbers on, just say for the fun's sake, for the audience. 426 trillion ISK moved, not including super caps, correct? Is that?
Yeah, so what the MER reports, which from what I'm told from Kazanir, that number does not include our super capitals, but that's net imports into Tenerife. So everything that was moved into Tenerife in the month that we were moving was 426 trillion even ISK. Now, I did some quick napkin math on this, and it is napkin math because I did it quick. Based off of what Zekiel says, roughly a trillion. Yeah. So it doesn't calculate the ships themselves, hence we're not including super caps. Smaller ships, it will push the number up, but not as much as the Titans and Supers would. So I did a quick calculation. Roughly, Zekiel puts a trillion ISK at roughly 600,000. That's a lot of rounding, a lot of napkin, because this is just for fun numbers. That equals out for that number to $2.6 million of assets in real world value moved from Delve to Tenerife.
And that's not including, no, that's going in and not including, obviously, like the chat's saying, like, not the ships that were actually flown to bring it in, not the
It's just
supers and all that
items
stuff, just
inside.
the items inside of it. And
Yeah.
I would probably say, like, and this is obviously just a rough idea off the top of my head based on how many players are in Goonswarm, and even the stuff that has or hasn't even moved yet. Like, for example, my stuff hasn't even moved yet, and I've got a couple billion in, the assets and whatnot to still move. I mean, this is probably, I would even say probably closer to almost double that number easily in terms of actual other assets that aren't counting the MER.
So I did, yet again, some very napkin math on this next one because we don't have solid numbers on yet. Roughly based on the size of our Titan fleets and super fleets in the past, from things like M2 and stuff like that, where we've witnessed what we can bring to the table, I worked out the value roughly of the Titans and supers. Now, this is probably going to be way lowballing it because I based it, as I said, off of fleet numbers that you see in combat, not our actual numbers. And as you know, a lot of people have several supers, several Titans. You can't fly them all at once. Unless some people. So add another about $1.5 million on top of that for the Super and Titan fleets, which that is probably lowballing it by a mile without having the actual numbers for what we have in Super and Titan.
Well, and that's kind of where I was thinking. I was like, it's got to be almost like, I mean, this is the napkin math off of what we've seen, but I still don't think that's what people actually have in most cases. That's just what they're willing to fly.
And then you've got Brave and Dracarys moving in as well. Mm-hmm. So going the other way will add on. So it's quite a bit of real world money that was moved about and quite a few missed opportunities from people that could have blown them up.
Yeah. And I would probably, like in total, if we're saying 2.6 million roughly on just the stuff that was moved in terms of the MER, and then estimating another 1.5 million in real world currency. And then obviously with possibly the Delta, a little bit more than that, probably close to 5.5 million, or even maybe closer to 6 realistically.
Without knowing exactly how many supers we have and Titans we have in Tenerifis, we can't fully get that number, which would also be a very bad number to release how many exact supers and Titans there are.
Yeah, but, talking about missed opportunities. I mean, I would say if anybody didn't try to do that, that was kind of a missed opportunity. But at the same time, if they're moving stuff like and they're combat ready in most cases, I'm sure. Why would you want to?
We were prepared for stuff, but at the same time, they could have fragged quite a few freighters beforehand, or caused us to accidentally kill them.
Yeah. There's definitely opportunities, I think, for any of that to happen.
Yeah, they just didn't. It's weird. They didn't acknowledge us moving at all. They didn't even acknowledge the state of the Goonian when it was called. Like, we all sat there just going, is Gobbins gonna do something here?
Yeah.
Are we gonna
just kind of like, okay, well,
normally that would be we're going to attack you sort of thing. So it'd normally be everybody get ready, but no, just like,
just nothing. A thing.
Radio silence. Yeah.
I mean, hey, at the same time, that's all on the mover side, that's all we could hope for, right? It's a smooth move, just smooth place
nice,
to get there, and all that fun stuff.
Very stressful, especially considering I had a long time planned holiday in the middle of it. Very stressful.
Oh, absolutely.
For everybody involved. But as I said on the last meta show, it truly showed what goons are made of, helping each other out. A lot of people did a lot of work to help their corps, their friends, the Alliance, and they still are. There's still people running Sino fleets, doing the moves, getting people moved, because there's still a lot to do.
Oh, 100%. So. Now, so bringing in the chat a little bit on this, what are all your, for our Imperium members that are out there that did move, what was some of your favorite memories from all of that? Like, what are the things that you thought was fun or wasn't fun? Obviously, moving is never fun. Like, moving is fucking cancer and Eve. I don't like it myself. I personally loathe it a lot. But what were some of your guys' memories, guys and gals' memories from that? Like, put it out in the chat and we'll continue that conversation here in just a sec. But And I still think there's going to be a whole, this move is never going to stop. I feel like it's going to be 6-8 months later and we're still going to be doing it. That's to some degree. It's just going to trickle down as you go, but I'm kind of going to jumping 300 billion blueprints across the region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a brown trouser moment for me as well, because I was FCing a fleet. Oh no, I got back from my holiday and opened the gate to move my own stuff and to move other people's. And I had warped and a bubble had gone up right as I had entered warp, and I was like, I don't like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like the old players coming back. There's a lot of activity at the moment. A lot.
And that's good. I mean, and that's its own way, like, because obviously nobody wants to be left behind, and especially you just want to be able to log in and play and just do the thing. That's also another reason why I haven't played, because I haven't been able to move yet myself, because I just, real world time just is escaping me for the life of me, especially this time of year. Holidays are always chaos. Like, it's always a little crazy. But last but not least, on our final list of things that have happened, notable things that happened in 2024, Brisk retiring from the meta show. Now, kind of going back to when it was brought up, like Mittens was like, hey, I want to bring on a new host. This is what we're going to do. We're going to try it out. Obviously, Boat was a phenomenal host for so many years. Obviously, he had his quirks too, just like everybody else does. And then, I think it was about 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago, we were like, let's reboot the meta show. Like, let's do something new with it. And Brisk came on and joined with Mittens. Him and Mittens, I think, had probably the best. And it's not dunking on anybody on this show right now. Like, we make do with what we can. I'm not a meta show host primarily. I come in and do my own little talk show, Cartridge Cloud, and then I do the streams here and there. But Brisk and Mittens had like a special set of charisma that I don't think I've ever seen on another Eve talk show in quite some time. Which kind of made them an unstoppable force until Mittens had to retire, unfortunately, from pretty much everything. Like, he won Eve and everything around it for quite some time, which is an unfortunate thing. And I don't think, well, actually, I do think he's on the front. I was kind of changing my mindset on this whole thing, but he's definitely one of the most charismatic hosts I think we've ever had. And it's one of the things that made it fun with you all. And chemistry, yes. Greg said it right. It was the chemistry that they had also that was very, very wildly different than any of the other shows. And even then, like, both spaceship nerds and both lawyers. I mean, you put two lawyers in a room and we could see what we get out of that whole thing, right? But it's one of those irreplaceable people. Like, even to me, I think Mittens was irreplaceable for how many years he produced content for EVE Online. Even I think that was just an insane thing. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on Brisk? I mean, Brisk finally getting retirement, spending more time with the family, touching a lot more grass. Kind of going from there. Obviously, we had a little bit of a passover with you guys when you Brisk kind of passed the torch off to you. And what were your thoughts on all of that?
Well, the last few, it was daunting because originally I was going for co-host, and then it was like, yeah, let's just change the host. And I was like, okay. It's given me a definite appreciation for the amount of work Brisk put in to make the show happen every week on week,
Oh yeah.
Especially if it could throw you curveballs. Like, as you know, I had a show where my guests had to cancel a few hours before, so I was like, oh dear. And it's especially difficult at the moment without a co-host, which I believe we're going to segue onto soon. Because everything's on me. And with my work, like this last week, I've done 50 hours at work, so I've not been about. These very little time to do the planning. So having a co-host makes it easier. So I do not get how Brisk did it by himself.
And he did, and this is not like anything short to say, like, putting on the meta show itself is a lot of work. And what Brisk did, even with like Jinja and I helping him from time to time, like, we didn't help him every week. There were some weeks that he did it all on his own. He's like, yep, I know what we're talking about. Here's X, Y, and Z. We're going to go through the thing. Here you go. And sometimes, like for him, like he's so embedded in what the meta was for the show itself, the game, and everything that was going around it, he would come up with these topics without even thinking about it in a lot of scenarios. Or there was weeks that the stuff was a little lower, so he brings up something more fun to talk about and more interesting to talk about. So I think that kind of led us into that whole portion of it there, which I think is interesting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so kind of going on, and then we're just going to kind of transition back to our live screen, kind of talk about it with you all. We are going to be hosting an open casting call, essentially, if you will. We're going to be looking for a new Meta Show host to join Dave, and we want to be able to put it out there to you all. If you know of anybody that would be great at it, wants to put in a day a week, I'm no more than 2. You know, like if you go and do a little bit of planning ahead of time to come in and do the Meta Show, we are looking for a new host. We're going to be doing it. We'll have some rotating hosts and stuff in the meantime, but we're going to be looking for our next full-time host for the Meta Show. If you're interested in doing it, we'll be sending out a link. We'll also get a Reddit post and some other social media stuff going for it here soon. But if you're interested, definitely let us know. Along with that, we're also looking for a myriad of other things here on INN. We're going to be looking for a talk show producer, which is going to be or stream tech, essentially, producer and stream tech, which will be coming up with the content, also running the show in the background for the folks, so that way you can give the hosts a little bit more, time to think about the show itself, not just the technical part of it. And then also streamers. Like if you guys are interested in streaming EVE Online or Variety Gaming or whatever, we get keys for everything. Well, not everything, but a lot of things. And if there's not, then we get it. And we get back, like everything that we make in terms of things, we get for the revenue for the channel all goes back into our shows and our creators and things like that. So without further ado, because we're in the last couple minutes, let's go ahead and start doing the giveaways.
Also, I'm going to address the thing in chat. Co-host, you're not going to get rid of me that easily. I am stubborn.
That's just brought to you by Obama. Jesus. You guys.
Guys, exclamation mark ticket in chat before we close the giveaway to be able to get into the giveaways. So we got.
Oh, sorry.
Do it because he's doing it.
To go on this whole thing, you have to be here and present. Just to give you all the rules for this whole thing, you have to be here and present. I'm going to go by. It's one giveaway. This whole pool of people is eligible for all of our 8 different prizes for this whole thing. I'm going to go through prize by item by item. We're going to go off of that, and then we're going to make note of all these things. If you win, you got to be able to go into Discord and tell me who you were, screenshot, all that fun stuff, or message me at LifeShifterX here in the channel. I can shoot myself here. I'll make it a highlighted message just in case. Where is the fucking highlight? There it is. So we'll have it right there. Anyway, so you have to be here and present. I'm gonna give you like a 20-second countdown. If you don't reply in chat right away, you're not getting it. It's gonna be re-rolled. There's no re-rolls back we're not giving it back to you after that. And we're gonna kind of bounce back and forth between the first one here. I'm here. So let's go. I don't know if Wolf is here in the chat. He can make note of the winners for each one of these. Or if you can join me for this portion of it for just a moment. Or Dave, actually, you can make notes of these real quick.
Yeah.
So our first.
I think it's still being goon rushed, so I'd give it.
Yeah. Go ahead and get an exclamation point ticket. Also, if y'all haven't checked it out, definitely. Oops, where is my? Check out the Logitech sale that's going on right now. You've got I think it's 15% off, and if you use code the Swarm, our promo code, you get an additional percentage off of your total order for anything you buy at logitechg.com. Use our link there. You could click on it here in the chat. I don't YouTube. I'm sorry, I don't have a way to chat directly into there right now. But yeah, so you should be able to go and do that. Save some money. Keep playing. Keep it fun. Always have a lot of fun with doing it. And I think it'll be a grand old time with that. So our first thing that we're going to be giving away is going to be a partner skin. So that's number 1. Actually, our first 5 giveaways are partner skins. Unfortunately, if you do win something that is like a partner skin, you're not eligible to win another thing because it's just going to take you out of the pool. So this is one pool of giveaway winners. Cool. Are we good? We understand? All right. So let's go for number 1. Let me pull this up real quick. I am struggling today with the screens and doing all the things. So I'm going into our thing. You got just a few seconds left. Exclamation point ticket. If you have not, we have 85 people in here so far for our giveaway. Are you all ready? We're going to close it. And for those on YouTube, come over to Twitch and you'll get it on there. We can't do giveaways on both that take in both places, unfortunately. I'm sorry. This giveaway is on Twitch only. So last but not least,
up a new keyboard now.
I know, right? Alrighty, and here we go. We're gonna close it. Oh, I'm sorry, Darth Mystic. If you hadn't already gotten in it, you might be already be in it, but I don't know. Anyways, so our first winner of a skin is Snow Candle. Congratulations, are you here? All right, cool. Snow Candle is the winner of a partner skin. I don't know what they are this month. I got the list of them, but I don't know what they are off the top of my head. So just Dave, if you can make a note of those. Okay, and then we're going to go for giveaway our partner skin number 2. Dark2824, are you here? Dark2824. Go ahead and do the little boring part of some of this, but I know, I'm sorry. We got an ad here. I'm going to snooze this guy because we need a few more minutes to do this. Dark, are you here? Got 10 seconds left to get in here. Got to say something in the chat to win. Otherwise, we're going to re-roll you. Nope. I guess not. Okay. The Tinker Goblin. Oh, no. You're on YouTube. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. I should have said that right from the get-go. I apologize. Okay. Dark2824, I guess, is not here. So we're going to go ahead and draw another person. Socially Obsolete, you were here just recently. Are you still here in the chat? Yo, there you go. Okay, winner number 2 is Socially Obsolete. Congratulations.
That's a bit big.
Third partner skin, Pyromandan. Are you Pyromandan or Mandon? You here? Say something in the chat. We're gonna go through and breeze through these pretty quick. If they're in-game giveaways like the Plex or whatnot, those are fine. The skins you have to message me for in Discord. It's exclamation point Discord in the chat to be able to find it. You'll find me at the top of the list. It's not hard to find. Pyromandan, I don't know if it's here. No more Pyromandan, I guess. Re-rolling on that one. 023. You're the winner of the 3rd skin. Yeah, you're here. So congratulations, you won. So 023, you're the last second or. So we got 4th partner skin. We got two more. GG Team Miro. Are you still here? I know it's titillating watching us give away all these things. GG Team Miro, are you still here? Oh, hey, there you go. Congratulations, you're still here. Okay, cool. We'll get you that one. Next up, last but not least on the partner skins. Grandiosa78. Grandiosa78, are you here? You're here? All right, cool. I think that's all of our partner skins. All right. So this next giveaway is for our Meta Show t-shirt. A t-shirt just like this one. And then we'll be sending you a link. You still got to message me in Discord for this one. I'm going to send you a link. It will give you the ability to go in and choose your size, shipping address, all that fun stuff, and have it shipped to yourself from our brand new fourth wall store. If you have not checked it out, exclamation point merch. So you can check that out there if you want to do it. It's our new fourth wall store. It's going to be coming from there. So that one, we're going to draw that winner now. Like I said, if you're here, you got to say something. Next up. Grandpa Vic. Grandpa Vic, woo, congratulations. You are the shiny winner of a t-shirt. So I'll get you that link. You guys just got to message me in Discord, !Discord. So for our last two, our big giveaways, this is for 1,000 Plex. 1,000 Plex. So we're going to be 2 and 2 of these. So we're going to be giving away 2,000 total Plex for this. Our first winner, like I said, you have to be here for it. I hope you all are ready. Let's go. Oh, no. Jim Gonzo. Are you here? Jim Gonzo's here. Congratulations. You are one Wix. You need to message me your in-game name, please. Second second and final giveaway for EVE Online stuff. And by the way, guys and girls, you got to stick around today. There's plenty more giveaways today. We're going to be giving away more merch. We're going to be giving away some Steam keys. We're also going to be giving away a Path of Exile 2 game key later on during the Path of Exile 2 section. So we'll go ahead and go there. But yeah. Last but not least, for our Plex giveaway, Emily Hahn. Emily Hahn, congratulations. Are you here? And she is here. They are here. Congratulations. So you got to send me your in-game name. We'll get that out in the next day or so. It'll just be contracted over. You have a week to accept. No exclusions for that. But yeah, and you'll see it coming from me at LifeShifter X. I'll send it to you from my actual in-game character. So you'll see my name on it. Actually, Wolf, if you could take those in-game names, I think that both of them have posted that, if you can, Jim and Emily. But last but not least, thank you all for having me on as your co-host for the Meta Show today. So thank you, Dave, for letting me kind of chime in and barge in on this whole process for you. And hopefully you all had fun today with the Meta Show itself. We are going to be transitioning over to playing some Marvel Rivals. Like I said, we've got more giveaways for the rest of the day. Our next stream for right now, that's coming up next. We're just going to be taking a short break. I'm going to use the restroom, do all that fun stuff. Then we're going to be playing some Marvel Rivals and get that set up. We're going to be giving away a Logitech item. So a choice between a keyboard, mouse, headset, peripherals, gear, streaming gear, camera equipment, all that kind of stuff is up next on Marvel Rivals. We'll also be giving away, like I said, another t-shirt. We're going to be giving a Fat Bee Gaming t-shirt as well. And then also some Steam games. After that, we're going to be doing Path of Exile 2 for a short bit before King Wolf has to leave us because he's a traitor apparently. Doesn't like hanging out with us anymore. And he's going to be giving away a Path of Exile 2 key thanks to our partners over at the developer. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I apologize. I didn't have it written down. But yeah, so we're going to be going for there. Again, just give us just a short break. We're going to be taking a break. And Dave, I don't know. Were you staying around, Dave, for Marvel Rivals?
I haven't got it downloaded. I've been trying to download it in the middle of this, but it was getting in the way of stuff. It would take another hour.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Also, I've been up since 2 a.m. and it's 8 p.m. So I want to get.
Oh yeah, definitely a little shit. But anyway, thank you all for joining us for the Meta Show today. And then just stay tuned. We're going to be just taking a short break, and then we're going to be coming back for some fun streams here in just a second. And until next time, stay classy, you Eden.